started already. You can officially start now in the Mile High City and Rocky Mountain region, because the Denver Broncos are world champions. They have just won Super Bowl 50. And the Lombardi Trophy is coming home to the Mile High City. Final score is Super Bowl 50 from Levi Stadium here in Santa Clara. Denver 24, Carolina 10.
What does this one mean to you? Well, and I'm going to say this. You would not want me to say this, but this one's for Pat.
It's the perfect time of year. The league is about to start. I really can't wait to tear your teams apart. The Broncos are the champs, a third ring for the case. We lost our favorite Manning, but Von Miller got paid. It's the DFL, delusional, can't you tell? It's football time, check your mail. The league is starting up, so don't you bail. It's the DFL, delusional, can't you tell? Football time, check your mail. The league is starting up, so don't you bail. Our league was on last year by an amateur player. Ike sits alone at the top. We're all his biggest haters. Drafting first this year, a new guy on the board, but Billy's going second, 'cause last year his wins were 4. It's the DFL, delusional, can you tell? Football time, check your mail. The league is starting up, so don't you bail. It's the DFL, delusional, can't you tell? It's football time, don't check your mail. The league is up, don't you bail. Don't you bail. Just a few more months until our season's done. I have but one question. Who's going to buy my mug? It's the DFL, delusional, can't you tell? It's football time, check your mail. The league is starting up, so don't you bail. It's the DFL, delusional, can't you tell? The league is starting up, check your mail. It's football time. Don't you bail. I'm not sure if any of you guys have watched any football in the last year, but kind of a big game at the end of last season. Kind of a huge game. We had possibly, and I say this not lightly, because first and foremost, I'm an NFL fan. You know, I'm a football fan, right? Not a Broncos fan, I'm a football fan. We had possibly the best defense to ever play the game. Walk into Santa Clara, California, and just dominate the league MVP, Cam Newton. Dominate anything the Panthers attempted to throw at us on offense. Dominate on special teams. And let's face it, Peyton Manning had the best time last season. I get that. But he put up 24 points on the league's second best defense. Who is the league's best defense, you might ask? Right here. Led by one of the highest players in athletics to ever play the game, which you might be wondering, Ryan, does that mean that Denver doesn't have any money to spend on any of their players and that they're going to be wandering through the seasons with Mark Sanchez as their quarterback for the next 5 to 10 years? The answer, yeah, there's a really good chance. There's a really good chance that Mark Sanchez might be a Super Bowl quarterback. There's also a good chance he might not make the playoffs. But that's all in the past. Super Bowl 50 will forever be the Super Bowl of the Broncos. So I'm very thrilled to have that chance to talk to you guys about that this evening. But that is, again, that's in the past. The future, what lies ahead for all of us, is the 2016 DFL season. Gosh, I can't wait. Every year it's the same thing. Every year I think, you know what? I'm going to get tired of this eventually. You know, eventually I'm going to think to myself, I have more important things to do. I have other things to fill my time. There are other things happening in my life that's more exciting. But this is like the best thing going on. And I say that proudly. Not like I have a bad life. I have a great life, you know. Roof over my head, food in my belly. I am going to make a friend, I'm pretty sure, tomorrow, which is going to be all right. And still, the DFL remains just the highlight of my year. We are entering into our 8th season, which is phenomenal. This evening, we will be selecting our 12th member. We have a pool, which I'll get to later. We have some people that have attempted to get in the league before, and they have lottery points built up. We have some people who this is their first year trying to get in the league, trying to get lucky. You know what I'm saying? So just going to be a very, very exciting evening tonight in the DFL. This August 1st, 2016 DFL Kickoff episode. Super pumped to have all you guys here tonight. First and foremost, if any of you guys wish to contact this live show, we do one live show every year. Oh gosh, Dion's saying he can't get in. Big surprise. We do one live show every year. And so this is your one chance to call in. This is your chance to be a part of the DFL videos that have become notoriously legendous, I believe is the phrase that has been coined. So please feel free to give me a call this evening. You will forever be brought up on the DFL playlist on my YouTube channel. So give me a buzz, 701-891-9926. Give me a call and we can discuss anything about fantasy football that you might want to do. Okay, first things first, let's recap last year. The 2015 DFL champ and newest owner of a DFL mug is none other than Ike Michelson. Something that needs to be noted about me. First and foremost, I absolutely hate the Patriots. I hate the Yankees, and I'm really not all that big of a fan of the LA Lakers. And that's because I don't like dynasties. You know what I mean? Like, I just don't like when one team thinks that they have the system figured out. And so with Ike placing in the last 3 years and winning the DFL mug 2 of the last 3 years, I feel a personal responsibility and a personal vendetta as a league participant to take Ike down. And so I feel like that needs to be what we are all walking into this season as, is people who our only goal in life is to take Ike down, is to make sure not only, and here's what I'm saying, I don't like that. You can't even read it. So that just tells you what.
Yeah, I just read it backwards.
I am Carla. Sarah. This is what I deal with. I try to be a good commissioner, and Dwayne's gonna get kicked out of the league if he doesn't be careful. Anyways, it should be all of our responsibilities to take out Ike. So I am I am instituting a new rule this year, and it can't be voted on. It can't be voted on. The new rule is this. If you beat Ike this year, okay? If you beat Ike this year, you get bumped up a draft move next year. That's the rule. If you can beat Ike this year, now listen, if you beat Ike twice, you don't get boosted up twice in the draft order. But if you beat Ike this year, next year you get a draft one spot higher. That's a promise. I just made that. As the league commissioner, I'm officially putting a target on Ike's back. I'm putting it on his back. So from now on, when you see that you have Ike lined up in your sights and you're playing Ike this week, it is your job to take him down. It is your job to make sure he doesn't have a win in his column. So, 2016 DFL rule, you beat Ike, you get bumped up in the draft order the following year. Find me, kick me out of the league, I don't care. These are rules that I'm making. I'm a maniac. I want to beat Ike. So, Ike is the king of the DFL at this point. Ike is at the top of the list. Coming in last place last year was Jory Pulver with a record of 2-11. Jory has since moved on from the DFL. I pretended to reach out to him for a quote, and he gave me a fake quote, and that was that although I enjoyed my time in the DFL, at this point it is not in my best interest to continue to pursue a career in fantasy football. I will be pursuing other interests such as hunting, fishing, and crocheting. So if you ever see Jory in the streets, you ever talk to him again, just ask him for me why he chose somewhat feminine hobbies over that of the delusional football league, if you will. Last year, Ike, the reason Ike was the champion last year, he had guys like Antonio Brown and Brian Marshall at his wide receiver position. Antonio Brown was the highest scoring receiver all of last year, and Brandon Marshall was the fourth highest scoring receiver. So Ike's receiving unit was just bar none, crazy good. He had his receiver position figured out, and that led to him being the DFL champion. His quarterback is Matt Stafford, one of the higher scoring quarterbacks, which you wouldn't think. But again, you got to assume that the way Detroit throws the ball around, with them having the Calvin Johnson no longer available, rest in peace. Matt Stafford did well for Ike last year. Jory Pulver struggled with selections such as Ronnie Hillman, Melvin Gordon, and Brandon Cooks as three of his highest scorers. Brandon Cooks, one of Jory's highest scorers. You might be thinking to yourself, I'm a big NFL fan. Who does Brandon Cooks play for? I would tell you. So, things not to do is draft two unproven running backs, and hopefully you'll find yourself some success as Jory did not. But anyways, we wish Jory the best, and Jory's absence obviously means that later on tonight we will have the 2016 induction of our 12th member this year. Some awards that go out to the 2015 DFL athletes. The first team in the DFL, the quarterback, best quarterback in the league last year, Cam Newton. No surprise there, right? NFL MVP, NFL second place taker, as some of us call him. The best running back in the league last year was Devonta Freeman of the Falcons. It's interesting he's not getting a lot of props this year, but I don't know. Maybe Atlanta's offense because out fizzled at the end of the year last year. People aren't too hot on Devonta Freeman, but he was the highest scoring back last year, so something for you guys to consider. Draft him high. Draft him number one, new guy. If you're watching this, maybe you are. Receivers. We had the first best receiver last year was Antonio Brown. Second best receiver was Julio Jones. Again, this is what I'm talking about Atlanta's offense. Devonta Freeman and Julio Jones were two of the top four offensive producers in the league last year, and no one's really talking about Atlanta's offense coming in this year. So, curious. Best tight end last year, Rob Gronkowski, no big surprise there. I hate Dynasty, hate the Patriots. Best flex player, Brandon Marshall. So that's Ike's guy, right? Ike had Brandon Marshall, led to a big win for Ike. But again, you would just think that all the performers last year, you wouldn't think that Brandon Marshall would be, one of the top performers, but he was. Brandon Marshall gets the first team nod for the flex position. First team nod for the kicker is Steven Gostowski of the Patriots. Hate the Patriots. And no surprise here, but the best defense, yours truly. So I will be drafting them as high as possible. The draft order this year / this year's mock draft will be as follows. The first pick in the 2016 DFL draft will go to the new guy. So the new guy could be Tyler Schmidt from, oh shoot, I think he lives in Fargo now. I was going to say Beulah, but I think he lives in Fargo. I'm not sure. Tyler Schmidt from North Dakota is coming into this lottery with 3 eggs. Sam Seiler from, I think Golden Valley, Minnesota is where he lives now, but the Twin Cities area. Sam Seiler is coming into this lottery with 2 eggs. Thirdly, we have Tim Schwartz, who, if you haven't heard of him, that is then my pleasure to announce that he will be the newest addition to the family, as he is engaged to my sister. Some of you guys were like, oh no, how's Tim getting the family? Adoption, or is someone gay? I don't know. Anyways, no, it's Tim. He's engaged to Mikkel. And then the 4th guy is a guy named Brian. And I think his last name is, I want to say Hawks, but I could be wrong. Could be Crows. Could be Brian Robin's eggs. Might not even have anything to do with birds. I can be making that up. But he has been nominated by Kevin and by Josh. So anyways, one of those 4 guys will be taking the first draft position this year. And I believe that mathematically speaking, and once everyone does their research, that the first pick in this year's draft will be David Johnson, a running back out of Arizona. I don't know. Maybe it won't be. I'm just saying that when I look at here's the thing. In the DFL, in the history of this league, a running back has been selected first every time. So as much as we might think that receivers would be a better choice, or maybe there's a quarterback that should go first, in this league, we have selected a running back first overall every time. So I just think that playing the odds, David Johnson looks like potentially the first pick in this year's draft. The second pick goes to Billy, good old 4-9 Billy. Billy, in my opinion, again, in this league, we've selected a running back second every time. So this league has always gone running back, running back. For 8 years or 7 years in a row, now soon to be 8 years, we've gone running back, running back. So I see Billy taking Todd Gurley. Now, this obviously the running back thing can't continue because it's just not how the league works anymore. And so coming up, I would assume that we would have Antonio Brown going to Kevin at number 3. Possibly one of the more explosive players in fantasy football, going to Kevin at number 3. Number 4 is your commish. Again, I think at 4 you have to go receiver, you have to go explosive talent. Number 4, my mock draft selection would be Odell Beckham Jr. Number 5 goes to Dion. Now, this is where it gets interesting in that Dion has seen running back go off the board. Then he saw receiver go off the board. And one of the highest ranked players projected on his board is going to be a rookie. And so I think at number 5, Dion's going to take Ezekiel Elliott, running back out of Dallas, a rookie out of Ohio State. So who knows? A rookie rarely gets taken in the first round of a fantasy football draft, but a running back from Ohio State, running behind Dallas's offensive line, we could definitely see him go first round. Coming at number 6, this one's a no-brainer. We have Cal Seiler picking 6th, Minnesota native, Minnesota local, Viking fan. Number 6, Cal's going to take Adrian Peterson. Adrian Peterson probably shouldn't even go in the first round this year. If we're being honest, dude's getting old, getting in trouble, running behind a bad offensive line on a weak offense. They're going to keep loading the box on him. Adrian Peterson's going to get destroyed this year. But that's not going to stop Cal from taking him at 6. 7, Kim comes in. Again, a league matriarchal figure. Kim will be looking again at what's been taken and what's the most powerful player on the board at that time. That's going to be her strategy. Who's the best player available? She's not going to know she has to take a running back, receiver, quarterback. So the best player available to Kim at number 7 will be Julio Jones, receiver out of Atlanta. Number 8 comes up with Hyper Cats, Dwayne and Carla. These two consistently amaze and confound everyone in the league with their drafting. But this year, number 8, Dwayne and Carla, without a shadow of a doubt, will be taking DeAndre Hopkins of the Houston Texans because they love a holdout. They love a guy who might not even be playing on the team at the end of the year. So Dwayne and Carla looking at DeAndre Hopkins, wide receiver out of the Texans at number 8. Number 9, we go to the Raging Marmots, Josh Seiler. And I think at number 9, he's got to start thinking, okay, a lot of receivers are off the board, a lot of running backs off the board. It's time for me to try to take the best player at a position. So Josh is going to take a reach here, and I say a reach because he's going to draft someone who's playing Jimmy Garoppolo for the first 4 games of the season. At number 9, I see Josh reaching for Rob Gronkowski, tight end out of New England. Number 10, we have Robbie Volk rolling in. Again, this is where it starts to get tough because there's a lot of good, a lot of big names left on the board. But I think Robbie Volk looks at who's going to score on points consistently every week. And I think he looks at Lamar Miller out of Houston. Here's what could be interesting. Houston's going to want to pound the ball because Brock Osweiler is an unproven traitorous quarterback who no one's going to want to trust with 25, 30 throws a game. So they're going to try to utilize Lamar Miller. Lamar Miller signed a big contract in Houston before Brock Osweiler did. So Lamar Miller played last few years in Miami. Lamar Miller could be looking at some very good touches this year in Houston and could be a first-round back going to Robbie at number 10. With the 11th pick, Mike Seiler, who was in his first year in the league, made the championship game, looked to be pull a Billy Hartman, as we like to call it. Looked to kind of step in and win the league his first year, and make a noise his first year. And so Mike, he's going to choke at this point. I really see Mike getting anxious, getting nervous about having to pick in the first round and all this pressure. And so I think Mike cracks and just drafts the first name he recognizes. And number 11, Mike drafts Cam Newton, quarterback out of Carolina. Finally, with the 12th and final pick, Ike is faced with an enormous conundrum because he's seen that this year there's a lot of value in receivers. So at number 12, he knows he's going to have another pick right after 12. So it's just a matter of which receivers he wants to make a first rounder. And so he's going to have his choice of options, right? He can pick Des Bryant out of Dallas. He could pick one of the 2 Denver receivers. He could pick Amari Cooper out of Oakland. He could pick even some of the younger guys. He even look like a Kelvin Benjamin in Carolina, guys like that. But I think that when it comes to it, Ike is going to rely on his Cincinnati Bengal fandom, and Ike is going to draft A.J. Green with the last pick in the 2016 DFL draft. So this has been your DFL mock draft. I really hope you guys aren't taking it too seriously. But again, this is like getting free advice from a wizard, basically, because I'm a fantasy football wizard or something. So anyways, I hope you enjoyed the mock draft. I hope I hit someone on the head. I hope some of you are uncomfortable right now. Oh shoot, I was going to pick that guy at that spot. It's right in my head. Is he a wizard? We are going to be doing the lottery selection here shortly. We'll be talking about some scoring changes before that. But before we move on to the show, I just want to give you guys a friendly reminder. Please feel free to call in. The lines are just wide open. The lines are. My phone. No one's calling. That's really cool, guys. Thanks for being involved this year. Anyways, we're gonna take a short 30-second break, and then we'll be back to talk about some scoring changes, and then do the lottery selection. This has been your 2016 DFL Kickoff show.
And if you haven't started already, you can officially start now in the Mile High City and Rocky Mountain region, because the Denver Broncos are world champions. They have just won Super Bowl 50. And the Lombardi Trophy is coming home to the Mile High City. Final score in Super Bowl 50 from Levi Stadium here in Santa Clara. Denver 24, Carolina 10.
That just never gets old. I don't care who you are. That's just good. This year, we have just a few minor scoring changes. The formula has remained the same. And I would remind all of you, but specifically Kim, that this is fair. Like, this is there's nothing crazy. There's nothing biased about this. This is absolutely a fair process. So much so that I've jumped on Yahoo and looked, and the top 12 projected scorers, okay, out of that grouping, we have 4 quarterbacks, 4 receivers, and 4 running backs. Pretty even. I would say this league is not slanted towards any position. So if midway through the season you only have 1 win, I don't really think you can blame it on the scoring because it's scientifically fair. Science and engineering and also math. So a touchdown, no matter who scores it, is worth 6 points. It's always been that way. The yardage points, for passing, you will get 1 point for every 28.8 yards passed. That has been determined because the average yards passed per game by the top 12, because there's 12 members in the league, top 12 quarterbacks last year was 288 yards. 288, 10, 28.8. So every 28.8 yards passed will be 1 point. Every 7.7 yards receiving yards will be a point. Again, top 12 receivers, the average yards per game was 77 yards per game. And the same thing goes for rushing. It'll be 6.8 yards rushing will get you 1 point. The bonuses will be laid out in a 1-3-5 format. So passing, if your quarterback passes for 288 yards in a game, he gets a bonus point. Again, the 288 yards we just pulled from the last stat I talked about. So it goes the same down the board. Receiving, 77 yards in a game, you get a bonus point. Rushing, 68 rushing yards in a game, you get a bonus point. The next stat for passing, if you pass for 328 yards in a game, you get 3 bonus points. 328 yards per game was the highest average passing yards in a game stat from last season. So same thing. I think it was either Breeze or Rodgers passed for 328 yards average per game last year. So basically, if your quarterback throws for more than the average highest last year, then you get 3 bonus points. That goes the same for receiving. At 116 yards, you get 3 bonus points, and rushing 92 yards, you get 3 bonus points. This is where it gets mathematical. For the 5 bonus points, passing, you need to pass for 408 yards. The math there is that, so going back, 328 passing yards minus 288 passing yards times 2 plus 328 is 408. So it's a progression. A squared plus B squared equals C squared, that kind of stuff. So some real Pythagorean theorem stuff going on. So passing, 408 passing yards gets you 5 bonus points. 194 receiving yards gets you 5 bonus points. And 140 rushing yards gets you 5 bonus points. On defense, if your defense allows 0 points in a game, they get 9 bonus points. If they allow 1 to 6 points, they get 6 points. If they allow 7 to 13, they get 3 points. If they allow 14 to 20, they get a point. If they allow 21 to 27, they lose a point. If they allow 28 to 34, they lose 3 points. And if they allow 35 or more, they lose 6 points. So that is that's scoring. And there are some other, if you want to just jump on, just look at the scoring settings. Nothing major. I think something I added is that if your team gets a tackle for a loss, not a sack, but a tackle for a loss, then they get 0.75 points. Since the sack is worth 1.5, I thought we should at least give half that amount of points if you tackle a running back at the line of scrimmage. I don't think there's anything else. Oh, for kick returners, kick returners don't get yard points anymore. They just get touchdown points. So if you're drafting a guy because he's a return specialist, he's only going to get points if he scores a touchdown. Because that's not really an individual statistic that I think is trackable. I mean, not trackable, but if a guy gets 40 run back yards, probably more on the blocking team than him, so we're not going to reward that. So that's the scoring this year. Now, guys, without any further ado, it is time to get on to the lottery selection process to determine who will be the next member of the DFL. Now, before we get out there, I want to quick say that I'm pretty sure my neighbors are outside. So when I go outside to do the egg smash, I'm going to try my hardest to do it quickly and really not give them too much of a show, even though I usually do, ain't no thing. So anyways, we have 7 eggs, 3 eggs for Tyler, 2 eggs for Sam, 1 egg for Tim, and then 1 egg for Brian. Yeah, 7 eggs. So the way it works, I will take the eggs at random, and these eggs have been seriously as randomized as possible. They were boiled a while ago, and then they were cooled to room temperature, and then I mixed them up, and then Sarah came in from another room, and she picked one up with a towel, and she wrote an initial, but she told me what initial she was going to write before she picked it up, so no tomfoolery involved. This is as random as it gets. If you can't trust your commissioner, you fired. It's a joke on trusting your leader, and maybe we shouldn't vote for Trump or Hillary. Whatever. That's too political for this. Anyways, I will pick an egg. I will smash it against my head. If the egg is hard-boiled, that egg's no good. That person's not in the league. If it's a raw egg, that's the person that gets in the league. So 7 eggs, 6 of them are hard-boiled, 1 is raw. That raw egg will be the next member of the DFL. Without further ado, let's go find out who our newest family member is. Neighbors are definitely out and about. It's actually really weird. I'm not even sure if I want to. You know what? I can clean the kitchen. We'll do it inside. You have enough to talk about me. Yeah. Plus, Sarah's not even down here, so like she doesn't know the mess that's gonna happen. And set this up. Allow me to go grab the eggs right quick. All right, DFL. We're doing it indoors. The others are out. DFL. 7 eggs, 7 opportunities, 1 towel. The first egg that we'll be smashing over my head is T for Tyler. Tyler Schmidt has 3 eggs this year. He has the most eggs. So let's find out if Tyler Schmidt will be the next member of the DFL. Tyler Schmidt will not be the next member of the DFL yet. Tyler Schmidt still has 2 more chances. Let's move to Sam, who has the 2nd most chances this year in the DFL. Sam has 2 eggs. This is one of his 2 eggs. Will Sam be the next member of the DFL? Sam will not. Sam will not. Sam still has 1 more chance. Tyler has 2 more chances. We're actually going to go and we're going to smash another one of Tyler's eggs, and then we will have 1 of each if that egg isn't gone. So after I smash this egg for Tyler, everyone will have 1 more chance. Moving on, will Tyler Schmidt be the next member of the DFL? Ooh. It's really heating up. Okay. Yeah. Still no more calls. That's just, no one wants me anymore. That's fine. Okay. We have 4 more eggs left. Sam has 1 chance. Tyler has 1 chance. Brian has a chance. And Tim has a chance. Let's just move them over here. I don't want to. All my eggs in a basket, as it were, right? Okay, we'll pick this one. B for Brian. Brian was nominated by Kevin, and Joshua had some comments about Brian possibly being his nomination, but again, we're going to give credit to Kevin. So this is Brian's 1 chance. Will Brian be the next member of the DFL? He won't. Too bad. Kevin and Josh have both been very valuable members of the DFL, so I feel like they want to nominate a good guy. But next year, Brian, if you want to be nominated again for the DFL, you will have 2 eggs next year instead of just 1. Let's give Tim Schwartz a chance. Tim Schwartz, just a heck of a guy. Heck of a guy. It'd be an honor to have him in the league. But this would be lucky because this is Tim's only egg. He was nominated by Dwayne. And he was also nominated by Mikkel, which I guess kind of works because Mikkel and Kim are co-managing a team, and Dwayne's also co-managing a team, so whatever. But anyways, so this is Tim Schwartz, his one egg. Will Tim be the next member of the DFL? Ooh. I locked my eyes that time. Almost too much in my eyes. I'm gonna bring you guys in real close here. Ugh, I did not. All right, so wow, obviously an upset. Tim was looking at just one egg. That's gross. Tim had one egg this year. I can see myself in the camera. Egg grease on my face. Tim had one egg, and somehow he defied all odds. And Tim Schwartz will be the next member of the DFL. Unfortunately, Tyler and Sam, they have continued to be just loyal stewards, attempting to get into the league. They go one more year without getting in. Next time we have a lottery up, Tyler will have 4 eggs, Sam will have 3, and Brian will have 2. So an upset tonight in the DFL. Tim manages to sneak into the league with 1 egg, and so we will see how Tim Schwartz handles the pressure in the DFL. Tim will be selecting first this year. Check your. I think it's on Yahoo. Maybe it's in the emails. It's definitely in Yahoo, but it's definitely in the Facebook too. The draft this year will be Thursday, September 1st. It's exactly 1 week before the season kicks off. So the draft this year will be online, live draft, September 1st at 8:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We've had this available for discussion for the last month and a half. No one's had any problems with it. So Thursday night, September 1st, 8:30 p.m. will be the 2016 DFL Draft. I will see all of you there. Looking forward to another great season, and can't wait to find out who's going to buy my mug this year. From the commission's office, have a great evening, and we'll see you guys in a little more than a month.